It's looking like Sam Darnold won't be returning to the Minnesota Vikings, and he could be potentially heading to the Seattle Seahawks. What's going on, everybody? Welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman. Coming up on today's show is going over everything we have heard around the Sam Darnold Minnesota Vikings situation over the last 24 hours. Last night when the Geno Smith trade broke, where Geno was traded to the Las Vegas Raiders to a for a third round pick, I was at a wedding rehearsal dinner and very disappointed I couldn't get this video for you guys out sooner. But good morning to all of you guys. We'll break it down on today's show. But before we dive into it, friendly reminder, hit that subscribe button. We will keep you guys posted, everything you need to know around the Minnesota Vikings, NFL free agency, and we're actually going live Monday at about, I think, 10 p.m. Central Time here on the channel. So if you guys want to come hang out, dive into all the craziness of the NFL free agency that starts on Monday, please do so. But mainly, hit that subscribe button and lock us in. So this was tweeted out by Tom Pelissero earlier this morning saying, with the Geno Smith trade opening a spot in Seattle, Sam Darnold is not expected to return to the Vikings, who are now focused on other options they have been pursuing in recent weeks. Sources told insiders, and he said those options include re-signing Daniel Jones. So Sam Darnold, not expected to return to the Minnesota Vikings. Let's talk about this. So I've been in the camp since the last second of that Rams playoff game that this was the right move for the Minnesota Vikings. I just thought with, one, the drama it would create if Sam Darnold would return to Minnesota, just in training camp, him and JJ splitting QB1 reps. And then it's like, if Darnold goes out there first couple weeks of the season, he has a bad game, the whole fan base is going to be saying, turn to JJ McCarthy. And then even if Darnold was on a team-friendly deal, maybe he's making $20 million a year, that's a very expensive backup. And I thought, the Vikings, and I've been saying this a lot here, they are a very, very good football team. It's a very good ran organization. Are they great? No. They don't have a playoff win under Kevin O'Connell. And to be great, I think this team needed to take a risk. And JJ McCarthy is that risk. And honestly, if you're a Vikings fan and you are not bought in the JJ McCarthy, check your freaking pulse. Because think about this move they are making. Sam Darnold just threw for 35 touchdowns, 14 wins, carried this team for portions of this season, and they are deciding to go with a rookie quarterback coming off a knee injury, a torn meniscus. And why I am such a big believer in JJ McCarthy is because Kevin O'Connell is a big believer in JJ. Kevin O'Connell, QB Whisperer, we know all the nicknames we can say about him, but he knows a lot more football than I do, and anybody watching or anybody that covers the NFL, KOC knows more football than all of them. And he sees JJ McCarthy working out every day, what he's about, when he was throwing on air during training camp, just everything. He's been around JJ every single day for the last year, and they just had a quarterback, a bridge guy, throw for 35 touchdowns, win 14 games, and they are still turning it over to JJ McCarthy, a guy coming off a torn meniscus. You guys should be fired up. I cannot wait to watch McCarthy go out there and play because Kevin O'Connell clearly views him as a borderline top 10 quarterback right now because that's what Sam Darnold is. He's a top 12-ish quarterback in the league. And Kevin O'Connell is saying, hey, we can get the same production we just had from Darnold out of this kid, JJ McCarthy, coming off a torn meniscus. So if you're a Vikings fan and you're not a believer in JJ McCarthy, you're just telling yourself, I'm not a believer in Kevin O'Connell. I'm not a believer in this Vikings organization. That's a fine take to have. I just think JJ, he's going to work out. He's going to be awesome. So this was the right move, no doubt, for the Minnesota Vikings. But also, we do have some injury updates on JJ. This was coming in from Tom Pelissero as well. Last year's first-round pick, JJ McCarthy, is expected to be cleared to practice this spring after missing his rookie season because of meniscus surgery. With Darnold on the way out, McCarthy's time could be coming sooner than later, but they still want to add a veteran. So, sounding like JJ McCarthy, he'll be all ready to go. And we've known this. And one thing here, one little rant I'm going to go on. The insiders. Adam Schefter, Tom Pelissero, Ian Rappaport, all of these guys. What have we heard for the past 3 months? The Vikings want Darnold back. The Vikings, maybe they're a little skeptical on JJ McCarthy. They really want to see if JJ McCarthy could put on weight. Remember we were getting those reports about a month ago? Or after the Lions game, people were freaking out. Oh, man, I don't know if the Vikes are going to want JJ McCarthy back. He looks like he's 180 pounds. Dude, he's a 22-year-old kid. in an NFL weight training program, he'll put on weight. And he's already reported up over 200 pounds. But all these insiders throwing it out there, and maybe they're getting information from the agent, which is definitely what's going on. But still, it never made sense for the Vikings to bring back Sam Darnold by any means. And that's what I got so frustrated with, is because all these guys kept on saying the Vikings are considering it. The Vikings are considering it. But they were just getting that information fed by an agent. And maybe that's what they're obligated to do, is just to tweet that out no matter, what they think. But if they had any context of what was going on in Minnesota, we all knew JJ McCarthy was the guy. Everybody knew that. This was no shock. This shouldn't be a breaking news video. We should have been fed this information 2 months ago, but it's just the agents working. And honestly, I don't know why I got fired up about that, but it was just pissing me off that a lot of these top insiders were just completely oblivious of the situation going on in Minnesota. But I do want to say one thing. Nothing but love for Sam Darnold at all. It was an unreal year. Listen, if the Vikings were in a different spot where they didn't have JJ McCarthy, I would be more than open to, obviously him returning, because I do think he's got top 12 talent in the world. I don't think last season was it was the Viking support system carried. Yeah, the support system's great in Minnesota. That's also a big reason why I think McCarthy's going to work out. But Darnold, you go throw on the tape from last year. He was making big-time throw after big-time throw. Obviously, puts the ball in harm's way a lot. He's not the best in the pocket. That ended up catching up to him later on in the season. But, nothing but love for him, man. It was a very memorable year. And also, I like the fit of him in Seattle. You're going to have a young wide receiver, JSN, there. Even though Lockett and DK are most likely on the way out, they'll probably draft a guy. They got a solid offensive line. They got enough talent on defense. And also, that division kind of stinks. Obviously, the Rams, I think they're a good team. Niners will probably bounce back. Cardinals are a 500 football team. So maybe Seattle. They just won 10 games last year with Geno Smith. I think Sam Darnold's a big upgrade over Geno Smith, just in my opinion. But, I think it makes sense for Darnold to go to Seattle. Wish him nothing but love. And if I'm not mistaken here, I think the Vikings, as I'm looking this up right now, I'm pretty sure we're in Seattle, which also we're in Seattle for feels like every single season at this point. But, yeah, the Vikings will be in Seattle. All right, so at least Darnold won't have to return to U.S. Bank. Could that be potentially our Week 1 matchup? Vikings in Seattle taking on Sam Darnold. I think that has a chance. And also, if we lose that game, I know Vikings fans would be freaking out, which would be hilarious to see. But let's talk about the Daniel Jones being the backup option here real quick. I like it. I have no complaints with it. I think DJ, obviously, was he a first-round pick, or has he lived up to the first-round pick potential? Absolutely not. But he knows the organization now. He was with them for the last half year, and, even though we just got great news on McCarthy that he'll be ready to go, but, what if another setback happens? Or what if McCarthy has to miss a month of the season? I am cool with rolling out with Daniel Jones. Also, I don't know who threw this out there. I think it was Jordan Schultz. He said Rodgers could be a backup option, like a dark horse option. I really don't see that being the case. I don't know why Rodgers would want to come here and be a backup. And I don't think the Vikings would have interest there. Just more terrible reporting from some of these big guys that cover the NFL. But I do like Daniel Jones as a backup option. I think that'll be a safe choice. Is DJ, could he be Sam Darnold? I doubt it. But could you get similar production? Maybe, for a month. Let's just say if the Vikings are 3-1, that's JJ sprained his ankle. He's out for the next 3 weeks. And it's during those 3 weeks, we got Daniel Jones. I would be pretty confident that the Vikings could win at least 2 of those games. Obviously, depending on the opponent and how healthy the team is at the time. But I would have faith in Daniel Jones. But one thing that I really want to make clear to everybody: get ready for a massive free agency. I wrote this down. Vikings are going all in. And I think this whole time, and I have been saying it for the past, I've been working here for 2.5 years. Since I started covering the Vikings here, their master plan this whole time was to get JJ McCarthy, a quarterback on a rookie deal, and build a stacked roster around him. And that's what they're going to try to do. So watch out for them going all in on in free agency. And I got 3 guys that I'm going to call the Vikings will sign. So last year I tweeted out, it was actually after day 1 of NFL free agency. I said Vikings need to go sign Sam Darnold, They need to go sign Aaron Jones. They need to extend Justin Jefferson. They need to trade up for a quarterback. They did all 4 of those things. So maybe Quasi's watching the show. But the 4 guys I want the Vikes to sign here. Milton Williams is number 1. I was looking at the last couple of teams that represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. You got Philadelphia. You got the Niners. You got Philadelphia. Then the year before that, it was Los Angeles. And then it was Tampa Bay. And you go look at all those teams, stacked defensive lines. Like, obviously, Philly and San Francisco always had great defensive line. But obviously, that Rams team with Aaron Donald, Von Miller. And then you also had that Buccaneers team with, like, Vita Vea, Shaq Barrett. Like, they were stacked. Like, I understand offensive line is still a big need for the Vikings. But also, I think they understand they need to get an interior pass rusher. And that's Milton Williams. And I know people are going to freak out because I'll call this right now. I'll call my shot. They'll sign Milton Williams to a 4-year, $100 million deal. Clip this. I'm calling it right now. They will sign Milton Williams to a 4-year, $100 million deal, probably 70 of it guaranteed. They need him bad. I think he is going to end up in Minnesota. So that's my prediction number 1 here. Number 2, I think it's going to be Willie Fries. I don't think it's going to be Drew Dahlman anymore. As much as I would want Drew Dahlman, and you could cut Bradbury, I just think maybe the Vikings think if they put good guards around Bradbury, they could get better play out of him. Now, could I make the argument if you put a good center and a good left tackle around Blake Brandel, could you get good production there? Yeah, I can make that argument, but I think they're probably viewing Bradbury, former first-round pick, been playing the center position a lot longer than Brandel has been playing guard. I think they're going to go out, get Will Fries at right guard, and then I would hope maybe they try to go get like a Tevin Jenkins at left guard, but I also think Byron Murphy will leave, and they'll sign DJ Reed. So if I had to call my 4 signings for the Vikings over the next couple of days, it would be Milton Williams 1, Will Fries 2, DJ Reed 3, 4, I'm going to go Najee Harris. I could see them picking up a running back and letting Aaron Jones walk. I think Aaron Jones will end up in Denver. And then 5, if they have enough cap space, watch out for a Tevin Jenkins. Try to get a left guard in there. Think that could be in the works. But guys, thank you so much for watching today's little Monday morning reaction video. I'm in the office tomorrow, so I have a ton of content for you guys. But got a wedding tonight, so hopefully no breaking news happens. But I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. And we'll see you guys next time. As always, Skol Vikes.